Hello students, my name is Prerna and I am your EVS teacher. And today from your EVS book Enviro, we are going to be reading chapter number 13. Now we have been studying about the three necessities of life: food, clothing and shelter. So in the previous chapter, we actually read about food, like where do we get the food from, the food that we eat, where do we get it from. In this chapter, chapter number 13, we are going to be talking about shelter, that is home. So let us start reading this chapter. This is chapter number 13, as I told you, and the name of the chapter is Shelter for Everyone. So there are a few questions at the beginning of the chapter. Does everyone have a shelter to live in? Then, do you live in a colony or a building? And what common facilities do you have in your neighborhood? So, do you have a school? Do you have a police station? Do you have a dispensary or a hospital? Do you have those facilities in your neighborhood? And are ants and bees social in nature? So, we're also going to talk about insects here. All living beings need shelter to protect themselves from heat, cold, rain, etc. Humans need a place to rest and be with their families. So they reach or build a place to live in. Humans are social beings, that is, they live in a group. People from hamlets, villages, towns, cities and colonies, depending on the size of the settlement or whether it is located in rural or urban areas. So people, they actually form groups based on where they are located. People who live close to one another in a particular area form a neighborhood. They share some basic amenities and facilities such as roads or parks or community club or maybe a community center, all these things. They are dependent on one another for the fulfillment of their needs. For instance, in a farmer, the farmers grow food, carpenters, potters, blacksmiths, etc. provide items of utility. Shopkeepers, they sell cloth or any other household item. So, probably a group of different professionals living nearby and they are selling different needs, selling different items which are used by each other. A settlement has planned residential areas where houses are located. Industrial areas a little far away from the city, commercial areas for markets and shops and offices, areas allocated for educational institutions and hospitals, areas for existing roads and railway lines and those for ones planned in the future. So it says settlement has planned residential areas where houses are located, right? So we are basically talking about different facilities that are available in the neighborhood, and these are also listed here. So we're talking about the place where there is an which is meant for let's say educational institutions, particular place which is allocated for hospitals, a place which is allocated only for markets. So this is how the entire planning of an area is done. Areas are also reserved for green belts in towns and cities to keep urban construction in check and ensure that trees and plants in that area are protected. They are reserved areas for many army people as well, which comes under cantonment area. So the areas where let's say people from the armed forces, people from let's say Air Force, all these people stay, they are called as, those particular areas are named as cantonment areas. Town planners plan the layout of spaces to be allocated in the master plan. So if you remember in your previous classes, you have read about how a lot of people are involved in the construction of a house, starting from an architect who makes the plan on the paper about the entire house. So even to design a city or town, architects, they in with the coordination of other people like a town planner or an engineer, they chalk out a particular plan that how we can have buildings, we can have basic amenities, we can have recreational areas, all these things for the particular locality or for the particular town. Now we talk about types of houses. The shapes, designs, and building material of houses vary from place to place. The climate of a region is an important factor that determines the type of house. The building materials available, personal preferences, and financial positions or of people also play an important role in the type of houses constructed. So these are the various factors which influence the construction of the house. Like what is the climate like? What are the personal choices? Like maybe I like a glass house, or maybe I like a house with a lot of greenery around, or maybe let's say I'm very rich, so I want to live in a mansion. So depending upon various factors, houses are constructed, and the material used in them also depends upon various other factors. In the plains, people use mud, brick, or cement to make houses. Bungalows, multi-story flats, and skyscrapers are common in big cities like Mumbai and Delhi. For us, skyscrapers, these are extremely tall buildings. Let's say 20, 30 floor buildings are called as skyscrapers. Houses in cold places are often made of wood. Some of them have thick stone walls for protection against the cold. Houses in the hills have sloping roofs to allow the rainwater and the melted snow to drain off. So you have like slope houses, so that, as the reason mentioned here, so that if there is a heavy snowfall, the snow can actually probably drain out on its own. It can slide down on its own, or even the rain. The winter snow settles on the sloping roof and helps to keep house warm by trapping the heat inside. Different houses in same place. Now this is interesting. In villages, there are two types of houses. One is the kacha house and one is the pakka house. And you can see the images of both the houses. And looking at the images, only by looking at the images, we can very well guess the kind of material which is used. It says kacha houses are made of mud and have roofs made of straw or palm leaves, tin or asbestos. A pakka house, it is made up of bricks, stones and cement. In places where summers are severe, that is where it is extremely hot in summers, houses have many windows that allow ventilation and shutters to keep out the sun so that the houses stay cool. Ventilation keeps houses cool. So you might have heard a lot of people saying, oh, my house is quite, the temperature is normal in my house even in summers because of cross ventilation. That is, the air has two ways to come in and go out. Some houses also have a veranda or a covered balcony where family members can sit in the evenings or even when it is raining. In areas of heavy rainfall and frequent floods, houses are built on wooden pillars. You can see this house here called stilts, which support the house and keep it above the ground. Stilts also keep insects and snakes away. Different houses in different places. An igloo is a dome-shaped winter dwelling in units. It is built of blocks of packed snow. So you can have a look of the igloo, right? And this is mainly built by people who stay in extremely cold regions like the North Pole. Such houses are only found in cold polar regions where there is snow all around the year. An igloo looks like an inverted bowl. The inside of the igloo is lined with seal skin and fur to keep it warm. Houses that float on water are called houseboats or boat houses. These are found in India on the Dal Lake in state of Jammu and Kashmir and in Kerala. Then you have nomads who use tents as house in deserts. They move because nomads move from one place to another. So they mostly have tent houses which can be probably packed and so it's like movable houses. So they can be taken from one place to another. All right. A yurt, it is a circular domed portable tent used by nomadic people of Central Asia. It is made up of the belt of the bamboo sticks. When the family has to move, the tent is dismantled and bundled in a bag. So you can see this weird house, right? Zululand is a region in South Africa along the eastern coast. The traditional architecture consists of beehive houses constructed of layers of thatch covering a framework of wooden strips. These houses are usually arranged in a circle. In the Kalahari Desert in Africa, huts are made from woven sticks and covered with mud. The roof is made up of grass. They make small hole in the place of windows to prevent sunlight from entering so that the hut it remains cool. Then we talk about houses in Japan. They are wooden houses because Japan has frequent earthquakes all the year which are very destructive in nature. In order to save them and avoid heavy destructions, people prefer houses standing on bamboo sticks. So you can see this is the um, beehive house and this is the wooden house of Japan that we are talking about. So this is about human beings, how do they stay? Now, as we discussed in the introduction of the chapter, we are going to talk about the ants. Are they social? All ants live in large social groups and work together. You might have seen ants, they generally walk in a line. It's very rare to find a single ant. They generally move together. There are almost 10,000 species of ants. The common ones are the black ants, wood ants, yellow meadow ants, and the red ants. The black ant is the most common, which obviously most of us would have seen. In an ant colony, the ants are divided into different categories depending on the work that they are supposed to perform. There are three such categories. So the ant colony has three different kind of people. One is the queen, okay, but she doesn't really wear a crown, or maybe she does. Then you have queen ants, and then you have worker ants, and then you have the male ants. So we can recognize them as queen ant. Males have wings. There are 4 stages in the growth of ants. So it's like egg to larva to pupa and to full-grown ants. If we watch ants carefully for a period of time, you will see they communicate with each other very effectively by touching each other with their antenna. So that those flings that they have on their head. They also give out particular chemicals called pheromones to leave scent trails for each ant to follow. Every ant, of course, has a particular task. The job of the queen ant, it is to lay eggs, which the worker ants look after. Worker ants look for food, tend the young, and defend the nest from unwanted visitors. Ants are clean and tidy insects. Some worker ants are given the job of taking the rubbish from the nest and putting it outside in a special rubbish dump. The ants of each colony have their own special smell. In this way, intruders can be recognized immediately. So did you know so much about ants before? If we look into the ant nest, we will see thousands of tunnels and chambers. While some chambers are meant for the queen to lay eggs, others are for workers to look after the larva, and still others to store the pupa. At night, the worker ant moves the egg and larva deep into the nest to protect them from cold. During daytime, worker ants, they move the eggs and larva to the colony at the top of the nest so that they can get the warmth of the sun. Smelling it, and other ants source of follow to reach the food. And then army ants are nomadic, that they're always on the move. Now we talk about beehive. What exactly is a beehive? Bees are also social in nature, and they are in nature. And then the domestic honeybee is a colonial insect living in beehives made of wax. So the group of bees, that's a beehive. Nearly 50,000 to 80,000 bees, they live together in a hive. The hive is made up of thousands of compartments or cells in neat rows. Each cell has 6 sides like the shape of a hexagon. So if you ever see the beehive, you will see the hexagon shape. Bees are social in their behavior. There are three types of there are three types of bees. So even bees are of three types. So you have the queen bee, you have the worker bee, and you have the drones, right? So each type of bee has a specific task to do, a specific work to do. They exhibit division of labor just like us, right? And the workers are responsible for keeping the hive clean, building the wax, right? And what else are we going to read about? That they are building the wax combs of the hive, tending the young, and when they get older, looking for nectar and roller. So imagine the bees also have so many tasks divided amongst them, right? So the hexagon that I was talking about, I'll show you what a hexagon looks like. All right, I have drawn it here for you so you can have a look at it. All right, so this is what a hexagon looks like. I will show you the shape. All right, so basically a hexagon, if you ever look at a hexagon, it has 6 sides. How many sides a hexagon has? It has 6 sides. All right, like a pentagon, how many sides does a pentagon has? It has, how many sides does a pentagon has? It has 5 sides. I'll show you the diagram of a hexagon here. All right, give me one moment, I'll just show it to you. So if you can see this, this is what a hexagon looks like. If you can see it, I hope it is clear to all of you. Is it? Okay, I'm sure it is clear now. So you can see it has 6 sides. I'll draw it again for you so that you get a clear picture. So this is the hexagon. See, I'm sure it is clear now. So it has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this is what a hexagon looks like. All right. Now let us continue with the chapter. And then just like the ants, even the bees, they have a kind of work to do. So there's a queen bee, there's a worker bee, and then there are drones. Now, if you're talking about the worker bee, so they produce wax from glands and in their abdomens to build and repair the hive and seal the cells. The workers also take turns to air cool the hive by beating their wings constantly. The queen bee, it lays the eggs, and drones, they help in reproduction. Bees produce chemicals called as pheromones, which are passed from one bee to another. All right. Now we are dependent on each other for the fulfillment of our needs. If each one of us does our work sincerely and with responsibility, then society would run smoothly. It would make our country to grow on the path of success. So as they say, live and let live, and sharing is caring. If we apply this formula, the society will become a great place to live in. All right. Thank you so much.